Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Chris Fortunato. I'm Blair's head of school. I'm coming to the end of my 5th year and very grateful to have all of you here today. Before we officially start this assembly, I know all of you, or many of you, are celebrating memories from the various decades during your time at Blair. We wanted to take a few minutes actually just to open things up by showing a short video of some pictures from this current year, 2017-18, and some of the memories that were forged by the 460 students who were part of Blair this year. I'm seeing from the booth that he's saying, stretch longer because it's not quite ready. All right, it was a great year on so many fronts. I will talk to you more about that in a few minutes, but just suffice to say that, I will mention later, I'm incredibly proud. I know you're not here with our students right now, although some of the day students here are helping out. It is an unbelievable point of pride as I walk around this campus, and our students who are thoughtful, bright, authentic, willing to be vulnerable, challenging themselves on athletic fields and artistically on this stage, giving chapel talks, talking to adults in and outside of this community in ways that are incredibly meaningful to them, trying their hardest. We just had graduation a couple weeks ago, and obviously, as you know, the spring in this area has not been the most kind from a weather perspective, so we had beautiful weather then, and today I think we were very much due after back-to-back nor'easters and trees down and power outages. Amen, right? We have a wonderful day today. But our students and our faculty and staff have really just done an exemplary job. This has been an incredible year. Erin and I are coming to the end of our 5th year. I remember standing here 5 years ago and coming to graduation to part of one night weekend before I started and very much saying, I came to Blair because this is where I wanted to raise my family. And this is where I wanted my kids to go to school. And that is very much a testament to all of you who are here, all of who have come before, from the headmasters and administrators and faculty and staff and trustees and alums. All of you have created the culture and the achievements and the fabric of this community that I am every day a delightful beneficiary of and feel very proud to steward into the next number of years. So thank you for making Blair what it is today, and I'm eternally grateful for that. Raz, are we looking good? We're looking good. So take a few moments and enjoy some of the memories that were forged this year for 2017 and 18.
She's Robert Van Stone, class of 1969, and President of the Board of Governors, Alumni Board of Governors. And I'd like to welcome all of you back to beautiful, bucolic Blairstown Bubble. Mr. Casson would be proud of that alliteration. Special welcome to the 3s and the 8s who've come back in droves this year. And a special shout out to my great and good friends from the class of 1968 who can't figure out why they're in the old guard when they only graduated 25 years ago. Another special shout out to the spouses who never get recognized, who become part of our cult, whether they like it or not. Probably have heard about Blair on maybe the 2nd or 3rd date and trying to figure out what is this guy talking about or this gal talking about, but this is what we're talking about. Along with me on stage, of course, is Chris Fortunato, the head of school, and my fellow Board of Governors, Kate Mellett Matisovsky, who's the Vice President, Winnie Adrian, and Derek Peachy, who's our trustee, liaison, and a BOG member also. It's only fitting that I introduce Derek Peachy to start us off with the Peachy Awards.
The Peachy Awards were established in 1998 to recognize outstanding volunteer effort by Blair alumni who selflessly served their classmates and Blair. And though I told him he didn't have to show up, it's just tough to keep him away. So if we could take a moment to recognize my father, Dennis. If there is one truth I've learned in my role as a member of my 25th reunion committee, where is the class of 93? 93. As a trustee and a member of the Board of Governors, it's this: only through personal contact can we increase alumni involvement and support at Blair. So in presenting these awards, I salute not only the recipients of today's awards, but also all the class reps and other volunteers who work to make Blair the best school it can be. Now, I'd like to thank all trustees, Board of Governors, 1848 Society committee members, class reps, class correspondents, Planned Giving Advisory Committee members, and reunion committee members that are here today to please stand up so we can acknowledge your work and service. Please stand. Thank you. Will the recipients of the Peachy Awards please rise to be recognized and then remain after the assembly to receive your award and have your photo taken. This year there were numerous volunteers who worked tirelessly to further the mission of the school while assisting their class at the same time. It's my pleasure to present the first awards, Alumni Volunteer of the Year, to 2 recipients. Celebrating his 45th class reunion this year, Thomas McLean has been instrumental in motivating his Blair classmates to join him at Alumni Weekend. Thomas is the National Sales and Marketing Manager at Cardinal Publishers located in Indianapolis. He's a former Board of Governor and a class rep since 2015. Thomas was a top basketball, track, cross country, and soccer athlete at Blair and is a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame 2016 inaugural class. Thomas's energy and enthusiasm for Blair is easily seen through his outreach and communication with classmates. He's a real go-getter and has great pride for the school. Thomas is not only proud to be a Blair Buck, but also has strong ties to Bucknell University and enjoys learning of other Blair graduates who continue their education at Bucknell. With appreciation, we present the 2018 Volunteer of the Year Award to Thomas McLean. Whether it's helping to plan an impromptu alumni get-together in Boston or encouraging classmates' support for the Blair Fund, this year's recipient gives 110%, if that's possible, in all she does for Blair Academy. She's a member of the reunion committee for her 10th class reunion this year, as well as a class representative. She took time out of her busy career to come to campus in 2014 to participate as a speaker for our Young Alumni Society of Skeptics panel, sharing her college and career experience since leaving the Hilltop. It's an honor and privilege to present the 2018 Alumni Volunteer of the Year Award to Samantha M. Tilney. And I'll now turn it over to newlywed Winnie Adrian, who actually came to Alumni Weekend directly from her honeymoon.
Thank you. I'm going to present the first award for the class correspondent. The class correspondent of the year is the link between the class and the school and performs the important work of keeping his or her classmates involved and updated about events, reunions, and giving opportunities. This year's recipient graduated only 5 years ago, but her enthusiastic and dedicated presence as an alumni volunteer has had an impact well beyond its years. Since her graduation, she has served as a class representative, helped at numerous alumni weekends, and generally been an upbeat and positive presence every time she drops by campus. It's no surprise, given her egregious nature, that she's been equally successful maintaining connections between her Blair classmates and the school. She's been instrumental in generating interest in her 5th-year reunion, getting news for her class notes, keeping her classmates involved in the Blair events, which is why, with much gratitude, on this, her 5th class reunion weekend, we present the 2018 Outstanding Class Correspondent of the Year Award to Madeline M. Kling. Please stand. We acknowledge her, but she's unfortunately not here. Next one is for Class Representative of the Year. This year, a dynamic duo deserves our recognition as Class Representatives of the Year. These two gentlemen began the reunion process a year ago. Their goal was to look for non-traditional ways to engage their classmates, and by the looks of the attendance this weekend, they succeeded. Coming to campus regularly for strategy sessions, sending postcards every few weeks to the class, not to mention bringing their duck for a photo shoot. Nora Beatty and Peter Cleary, class of 1958, went extra miles to make their 60th reunion special. Unfortunately, after all of this work, Norm was unable to join in the celebration, so Peter has been carrying his stand-in around all weekend. We wish to thank you, Peter and Norm, for your service and thoughtful approach to organizing your reunion. It is our pleasure to recognize you today. Reunion Committee. This year we are recognizing 2 classes who have gone above and beyond all others to plan for this reunion. The class of 1993 jumped headfirst into their 25th reunion planning, quickly getting a committee of 9 together to help build excitement for classmates to return for the celebration. With monthly conference calls, numerous class letters, and significant electronic outreach, the class worked methodically to reach every member of the class. In the middle of the process, the discussion of their class gift occurred. And quickly it became apparent that the average way wasn't going to be big enough. The class of 1993 is the first 25th reunion class to work to establish a class scholarship with the goal of exceeding $100,000. I am pleased to report they have secured more than $72,000 to date, and they are not stopping yet. In addition, you all have members of your committee to thank for recommending that we add the amazing fireworks display that we all enjoyed last night. Congratulations and thank you to the class of 1993 Reunion Committee. Once more, onto the breach, dear friends, once more. Like Shakespeare's King Henry, John Alden, Carter Crewe, and Bill Wildrick called upon their loyal band of brothers to rally the troops to return to the place of their teenage pranks, victories, defeats, red ink paper, and where, above all, they forged their lifelong friendships. 18 responded to the call and reached out to the entire class to invite them back this weekend to celebrate their 55th reunion. There may have been some arm twisting involved, yet everyone is happy to be together with their commemorative hats, thanks to Don Usher. Special meetings, meals, and activities. There may be some grog involved. Blair is grateful to this group of fierce individuals who are the first ever class to create a faculty chair that has grown to over $1 million. They know from personal experience how great teachers can positively impact lives and have committed themselves to recognizing and supporting current educators who coach and mentor young people. Blair salutes the entire class and gives special recognition to the class of 1963. Well-deserved weekend, gentlemen. The game's aloof. With those members of the class of 1963, please stand. Now please welcome Kate Millett, who will talk about Blair's Planned Giving Society, the John C. Sharp Society.
The John C. Sharp Society is Blair's program to honor loyal alumni, parents, and friends who have included the school in their estate plans. It is named in honor of Dr. John C. Sharp, Blair's legendary headmaster, who inspired decades of alumni and helped establish Blair as the school we know today. Bequests and other estate gifts have been instrumental in the foundation and growth of Blair's endowment. A sizable endowment is critical to Blair's ability to fulfill its mission in both good and challenging economic times. Through the generosity of many donors, including John C. Sharp Society members, Blair's endowment has increased significantly in the past decade, truly helping to secure the future of the school. Estate gifts are the cornerstone of Blair's future, and membership in the Sharp Society represents a commitment to that future. We would like to honor all members of the John C. Sharp Society today. Will all members of the John C. Sharp Society please stand? Thank you.
Good afternoon at this point. Welcome again, everyone. And as Kate mentioned, A special thank you to members of the John C. Sharp Society. Actually, thank you to all the volunteers, thank you to all the class representatives. All that you've done continues to make Blair the great school that it is. Instead of burying the lead, I'm just going to go ahead and make mention. When we talk about the John C. Sharp Society, and we think about the future of this school and making sure that through our endowment in part, that we have a very bright and secure future ahead, I'm very excited to announce that that there is a future estate gift that has been pledged to Blair, which will be the largest single gift pledge made to Blair in the amount of $7.5 million that we have just secured in the last week. That is very much a testament to not just the donors, but to all of you and to this great school that people have so much affection for. And again, I think about the 170 years of stories that have been written and memories that have been forged here, and the many, many more years ahead. In 5 years, we'll be celebrating our 175th for those of you who are returning on the 3s and the 8s. And so I'm very excited when I celebrate the end of my 10th year to have a grand celebration celebrating Blair's 175th. I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk to you a little bit about the state of the school. I'm looking down for a moment and realizing, by the way, that no matter whether you're 5 years or 55 years out, that no one still sits in the front row. That's all right. It is a part of adolescence that stays with us forever. I'm very confident and proud to say, and grateful to say, that the state of the school has never been stronger. And again, that is very much a testament to the faculty, the staff, the students, the families, the alums who have contributed so much in all kinds of ways to the school that I inherited 5 years ago and very proud to lead today. You may have noticed, for some of you who have not been on campus either in the last year or in the last 50 years, as you drive up our campus, some things have changed. There are a few buildings that, and improvements to Blair that have really ushered in a modern era and a forward-thinking era to Blair right now. I'm going to talk about a couple of those in a minute too, but I actually wanted to make mention of something specifically. Not just beautiful, technologically forward-thinking buildings, but there is a beauty to our campus, and that comes from a pride of ownership. And that comes from a pride of ownership of our students, our amazing buildings and grounds people, all of our faculty, all the alums. The number of times that I've walked around in the last 5 years and seen students pick up a piece of trash off the ground without being watched is a testament to who we are. So much more so, not that we need accolades, but every so often we'll take an accolade. We had Architectural Digest name Blair something we already know, that we are the most beautiful private school campus in New Jersey. Some of you had an opportunity to see what has risen in the last year or so on the footprint of Easton Davies Halls. Easton Davies created incredible memories over the course of 100 years as a gymnasium, as a swimming pool, as a dormitory, as a place where faculty and students connected with one another. East eventually came to the end of its useful life, and standing in its place right now is the Chang Center for Innovation and Collaboration. And I am incredibly excited about what that's brought to us just in the first year of its being open. The Chang Center is a place where technology and fine arts and design and media and multidisciplinary work have all come together in a space that from the outside blends very nicely with who we are architecturally at Blair. But on the inside offers us an opportunity to have more flexibility in terms of how we teach and learn, brings and convenes students together, whether it's they're working on projects in the Innovation Lab Makerspace or the Ceramic Studio, or whether they are getting together to watch the latest incarnations of the Society of Skeptics, which is now housed there as well, or participating in seminars with alums. And by the way, for those of you who may lament, it would have been nice to have one of these when I was here, you can be a part of it. One of the greatest things that we have been able to do, and we continue to do more of, is invite our alums and to come back to our school, and not just to spend a couple of hours giving a lecture, which is wonderful in and of itself, but to actually be part of the fabric of what we do here. And so invitations are out there to those who want to share their wisdom, experience, insights, projects, things that they're working on, so that our students can actually bring the world to them here and have the benefit of your wisdom and guidance and the work that you do. So please keep that very much in mind. So the Chang Center, the CSE, as the students know it, has really brought an incredible dimension to what we do and how we are advancing the teaching and learning mission of the school. In addition to that, the Weber building right next door, which housed Fine Arts, now that Fine Arts is in the Chang Center, is now our math facility. And the math department has done great work for decades and decades, operating out of 5 different buildings. And so now they have a home, and they're working collaboratively and incredibly well together. And you'll see, as you may leave by the golf course, there are a number of stakes in the ground right outside of Bogle Hall. Bogle Hall was the last, before the Chang Center, new academic facility that the school had built in 1989. We have more students enrolled in science classes right now than we've ever had in the history of the school. And so we know, in order to make sure that they are getting everything they need to be facile with an understanding, appreciation, and love of the sciences, that we need to do something to make Bogle Hall commensurate with that. So we are breaking ground in the next 2 weeks for a major expansion of Bogle and a complete renovation of that facility as well. And that will bring to an end an arc of building projects that really bring the academic mission of the school forward. So I'm very excited about that. As is Mr. Bogle, by the way, who was on this stage not very long ago, a few weeks back, addressing our students once again, 89 years young, and doing an incredible job of inspiring our students. Outside of our campus, there are so many things. I wish I could list them all, but all these successes and achievements over the last year and last number of years. Just this year, you may have heard in the Athletic Assembly, or Athletic Hall of Fame Assembly, 9 Maple Championships this year. It's not so bad. Not so bad at all. Our first TEDx talk in the Chang Center, where we had students who were presenting in their own TED Talks along with another school, and did an extraordinary job. Just a few weeks back, we had Blair's 5th annual Day of Service, where we sent all of our students and our faculty and staff out to organizations within about an hour's radius to do really good work to support the missions of those organizations. Our leads classes, our sophomore seminar on leadership, 120 students designed both group and individual projects to benefit members of the community around Blairstown. We feel really strongly that in addition to having learned, caring, good citizens of Blair, our students need to be good citizens of this community. They need to be good neighbors, and they need to be good citizens of the world. And then there's skeptics and art openings and art exhibitions and chapel talks on this stage, 4 plays that we did this year, really incredible on all different kinds of fronts. You saw some of that from the pictures before. I'm very excited and proud to tell you that on the admission front, that this is the most competitive season admission-wise and most successful season in Blair's entire history. In the last 5 years, our admission rate has gone from 33% to 18%. And now some people have said to me, I'm not sure if I would have gotten into Blair this year from way back. I can tell you that here's what we do. We always, always want to have great, wonderful, caring, empathetic young students who are going to be great ambassadors of Blair. And they are adept and they are skilled academically and otherwise and athletically, but it's not just about test scores. I mean, we know those things. We know that they're smart when they come here. It's about the kind of people we think they can be and what they bring to this community. And again, couldn't be prouder of the students who have joined us this year and will join us next year with well over, I think, 1,200 applications to Blair this year alone, which is really exciting. There are the accomplishments, there's the buildings, there's the plays, there's all the different things that we work on here. I think you probably would all attest to the fact that the most important component why this school has meant so much to you and why it means so much to me and others at this time, it always comes down to people. It always comes down to the people and the relationships among one another, among your peers, but also with teachers and students. I had an opportunity, and I've had the last 5 years, to spend a lot of time with students, advisors of my own, and take adventures with our students. Just in the last couple of months, I went off to England with 80 of our students who were performing, both singers and members of our orchestra, who were on a performance tour across Cambridge, Oxford, and London. It's pretty extraordinary to watch them do that and to have students have that opportunity to show off their talents in that kind of way. Earlier in the year, we started a human rights focused seminar with members of Harvard University, who I was connected with before I got to Blair, and had an opportunity to take 20 students up to sit in on graduate classes and seminars with those graduate students. And one of the best experiences I had this past year was when one of the faculty members at the Kennedy School at Harvard said, okay, so why don't you turn to, talk to the graduate students in the room, and turn to one another and kind of focus on conversation about this particular topic. And he completely assumed that the group that we were with from Blair, being a little bit younger than the graduate students, would spend time with one another. And immediately, 3 of our students walked over to graduate students and started doing work together. And that was not a sign of arrogance. That was a sign of authenticity and a sign of confidence that they wanted to be involved in that kind of dialogue. And later that day, we sat with two of the leading human rights advocates, one from China and one from the United States, on a number of different topics. And they sat around a table with our students. And I thought, let's see how much I'm going to have to intervene and make sure the conversation goes ahead. And this faculty member and I just stepped back, and our students led 2 hours of dialogue with these individuals. It was extraordinary to watch, and not surprising at all, but a testament to what our students can do. On the lighter side, and there are all these wonderful, joyful lighter sides, whether it's Petty Week bonfires or Headmaster Societies. Headmaster Society is a little bit of a newer venture for the last 15 years. We have a Harry Potter-like experience where students divide into 4 groups based on the names of previous headmasters, and we have different competitions, and actually thinking about keeping our past connected to us. This past year, did anyone remember Headmasters' Holidays? You ever? Okay. All right. Every so often I have the opportunity, or headmasters have the opportunity to give a holiday and a little bit more of a surprise to students. This past year I sort of pretended that I was not going to give a headmaster's holiday as we got to this Headmaster Society's games. And then I got interrupted by a video that we had put together with Jim Kelly. And Jim Kelly, who was in his 80s and living in Cape Cod, who still stays connected to the school, overruled me and gave a headmaster's holiday to the students. Again, a wonderful thing just to be connected to our past in that way. But a couple of these sort of smaller, more wonderful moments. As you know, we had a series of nor'easters back to back back in March. One of the first times we actually had to close our school for a little while because of power and storm damage. But we had a day or two where we had no power. No power in an age of mobile technology, where students every so often want to be connected to their devices. We had, despite the fact of me having to have everybody stay in their dorms for safety reasons, we had a 24-hour period of time where our students talked, and not that they don't do this already, but talked and played guitar and played games and sort of returned to some of the sort of joyful, youthful silliness of being children. And they weathered that storm extraordinarily well. In addition to that, as we got a little bit to warmer weather, I was driving back from a site visit for our strategic plan, and it looked like the temperature was going to reach maybe about 80, 81 degrees that day, and instantly started getting text messages from students saying, we really need to wear shorts. Can you do something? I'm worried about the health of the student body if we're overheated. And so this is now about 9 o'clock at night, and so I stopped to grab a drink on the way back, or way down from my trip, and I sent an email out to the student body, and I said, okay, I've been gone for a day, I've missed out what's happening in your lives today. You all seem to want shorts. Here's what I'm going to have you do. If I get at least 100 emails in the next hour where you tell me how your day was and something interesting, specific about your day, then I will consider giving you shorts. Got back in the car, and about an hour and a half later, I get back on and check my email. There's 150 emails. And then, by the way, be careful what you wish for, because then you have to read them all. But they certainly won shorts for the day. I got to learn all about what happened in that day with students. But the best email was the next day, after they're all wearing shorts. I got an email around 11 o'clock that morning from a student who just said, I just thought I'd tell you about my day again now, even though I don't need to wear shorts anymore. There are these little moments. There is such a sense of authenticity and kindness and empathy in our community, and that doesn't happen by accident. That's a very deliberate thing. That is kept together, and that culture is controlled by all the work that we do with our students to help support that with them. As we look ahead and make sure we hold on to the best parts of ourselves, those relationships, that sense of kindness, connection, and empathy, we are now in a strategic planning process where we're looking to the next 5 to 7 years ahead. And as I've mentioned before, in terms of making sure that our endowment is supporting Blair in his long-term future, there are areas of priority, and I'll just tick through a few for you. First and foremost, like I said, is people. The teachers here, you can have the best curriculum, the most progressive buildings and technology and all the different things that make a school run, but it's always the people that make the magic of the place. And so we're going to be focusing our energy on making sure that our teachers here, that we bring in, support, nurture, and help thrive and retain the best possible teachers. And that's something that we know we're going to be supporting as the top pillar of our next strategic plan. We're also going to be making sure that they get the professional development that they need. We're making sure that our students stay healthy and well. This is an age right now where we are inundated with so many things 24/7, that our students need the kind of supports academically and spiritually and in terms of their emotional health to really thrive in an environment where the world is a kind of sometimes challenging and stressful place. We're also going to be developing more partnerships outside of Blair so that we can look at colleges and universities and employers and alums who want to not just come visit Blair, but be part of the fabric of the community. And they'll also be ensuring that that financial aid is a top priority for this school. One of the best things I've gotten to do in the various travels I've had is to be able to take students, for example, to different parts of the world, whether it's for service or whether it's for cultural immersion. Students who would never otherwise have the opportunity to come to this school or to go out and see the world for themselves. And so those things are extraordinary to be able to do and transformational for students. Again, looking ahead, I'm excited about what we've achieved and what we've accomplished. We want to make sure our campus continues to grow and amplify our mission. But again, first and foremost, our people are what make this place wonderful. Last note I'll leave you on before I present a couple of awards. As I was sitting in that graduate class with our Blair students and students up at Harvard University, the faculty member who we work with on a regular basis, who comes down here and works with us, he said there are a couple of things about our students that he's particularly impressed by, and he wants to impart to this community in general. He wants all of us, and we want all of us, to be both fierce and generous. And I want that to sink in for a moment. The idea of being fierce, not ferocious, and not necessarily adversarial by design, but for our students to be fierce in their pursuits of trying to figure out who they want to be, not who they think we want them to be, and pursuing the things that are exciting to them. Passion may be a little bit of an overstatement when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, but finding the things that they are interested in so they can pursue those fiercely on an athletic field, on a basketball court, in a classroom, on this stage, and out in the world. And to be able to engage in dialogue and debate in a fierce and exciting kind of way. And on the other side, generous, because you can have the ferocity, you can have the intelligence, and all the different skills that we always talk about. But if you're not generous with the people around you, in all different kinds of ways, then you're not fulfilling the mission of the school and not finding probably the kind of fulfillment we'd like in our students' lives. So we want them to be fierce, we want them to be generous. I appreciate that all of you have been fierce and generous in your time at Blair, and since then in all different kinds of ways. So I extend my appreciation for, again, helping to build the school that we are so excited to lead, not just now, but for the next 170 years ahead. So with that, I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about two special presentations. And I'm very thrilled to be presenting Blair's highest honors, the Alumnus of the Year and the Citation of Merit. So I'm going to start with the Alumnus of the Year. Richard Rubin is a true blue Blair enthusiast who shares his excitement about his alma mater with every member of the school community that he has a pleasure of meeting. He has done so as a two-term Alumni Board of Governors member and as a BOG Vice President, as a dynamic class representative since 2008, and as a reunion committee volunteer for the class of '68, for the 40th, 45th, and 50th reunions. Outside of his official roles, he is also very happy to create and solidify Blair connections among parents, alumni, faculty, and friends. And for those who had a chance to sit in on the dinner last night, you heard a lot about that. He will make a call, he will send an email, he will orchestrate a get-together, he'll hop in a car to visit a classmate or to attend a reception, and we're always very grateful for that. His kindness, his sincerity, his sense of humor make him a consummate ambassador for this community. And his inclusivity and his passion for Blair inspire others to deepen their involvement with the school. His dedicated service to the class of '68 is especially noteworthy. He's worked hard over the years to help his classmates stay informed and stay united. He was a key facilitator in the conceptualization and realization of their 50th reunion gift, the class of 1968 Society of Skeptics Endowment Fund. The class raised over $100,000 to underwrite a portion of the annual operating costs of that lecture series. And that is very near and dear to their hearts and will motivate, we know, not just classmates of his, but others to help support that unique program. He is a successful attorney and a devoted father and husband, has accomplished so much on Blair's behalf over the last 50 years. And as he celebrates this milestone reunion with his classmates that he knows so well and about whom he cares so deeply, we are incredibly proud to name him the 2018 Alumnus of the Year. now I'm pleased to present the Citation of Merit. In the 55 years since John Alden's Blair graduation, his love for the school has never wavered. He has demonstrated a deep and abiding dedication at every level. From his long-standing and exceptional service on our Board of Trustees to the caring personal connections he maintains with the class of '63. Thoughtfulness, intelligence, humility, and warmth characterize all of John's efforts on behalf of his alma mater, and his energetic work celebrates the traditions of relationships and learning at the core of our heritage and has helped propel Blair to this bright moment and a bright future. His board tenure spans a remarkable 43 years of engaged and active service. As a trustee from 1975 to 1990 and as an emeritus ever since, he has brought to the table invaluable business acumen and insight into boarding school best practices that he's gleaned from successful careers in the hospitality industry and as an independent school CFO and treasurer. He has answered the call to leadership in board endeavors time and time again, and I know because I make those calls fairly frequently. Not surprising for a former class officer, a football and track captain, and a headmaster's prize winner, including most recently his enthusiastic commitment to serve on the Financial Sustainability and Capital Campaign Strategic Planning Committee for Blair. In this vital role, he will continue to help chart our course for the future, ensure our strength for generations of students to come. The school's future is something that John has considered personally and with his classmates as well. And he and his wife Sherry, a gracious supporter of all things Blair, are members of the John C. Sharp Society of Plan Givers, and John is a champion fundraiser and advocate for the class of '63 faculty chair. That's a class legacy that will help Blair to continue to attract and retain the best teachers. John has been instrumental in establishing the Blair's Planned Giving Advisory Council, through which he and fellow council members promote planned giving as a means of securing Blair's sustainability. Through the decades, as John has undertaken important initiatives on behalf of the school, he has also maintained close, lifelong friendships with the classmates of his by planning get-togethers, working on union committees, and keeping in frequent touch. This is simply who he is and what he does. He is a man of great heart and character. He is good and kind, and above all, he gets things done. So Blair Academy is a better school for John Alden's generous investment of time, talent, and treasure over many years. And this 2018 Citation of Merit, the school's highest honor, is a well-deserved recognition of all he has contributed and accomplished. John, please join me on the stage.
First, I want to do a tip of the hat to Dennis Peachy, who got me involved. Dennis saw the potential of the class of '63 as our prefect, and he wasn't wrong. I'm here because of the class of '63. A great group of guys and a great group of spouses who have supported this class. And to that regard, I want to thank Sherry for her support.
Thank you, and congratulations to John and to Richard. We're going to be bringing our assembly to a close in a few moments. I once again want to express my appreciation when we talk about things like love and belief and family, and I talk about those things often with our students. I remind them of all the people who sat in these chairs or chairs around this campus over the last 170 years. And we are very much part of the Blair family and the Blair community that both writes the story, the history of this school, and very much writes its future. So I thank you all for being a part of this weekend and doing all the things that you do. And maybe no better, more fitting way to sort of end a time of talking about the love of this community than to have members of our singing group, our choir, sing along with us, and on the back, I believe, of your programs, what is known as the Blair Love Song. Here's your starting pitch. I couldn't help myself. Thank you for hitting all those wonderful high notes. Enjoy the high notes of the rest of the weekend. Thank you, everybody.